Why we're surrounded by.
Hi, my name is Hani Shamat. I'm a program associate with the Shared Use Mobility Center, and today we're talking with Bruce Demeter, Chief of Performance and Innovation with the Delaware Transit Corporation. The Delaware Transit Corporation was awarded an Accelerated Innovative Mobility Grant from the Federal Transit Administration to support a multimodal data integration demonstration project. So, hi Bruce, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Hani. It's good to be here.
Great. Could you please introduce yourself, your agency, and the DART Connect project?
Sure. Again, I'm Bruce Demeter, and I'm the Chief Performance and Innovation Officer here at the Delaware Transit Corporation. The Delaware Transit Corporation, which we're also known as DTC, is a quasi-private public entity that is hired by the Delaware Department of Transportation to oversee the operation of public transportation within the state of Delaware. We operate what is called DART First State, and that is a fixed route and a paratransit bus system. In addition, we also coordinate with Amtrak and with SEPTA for passenger rail services, and we do oversee the public carrier. Now, public carrier are taxis, limousines, and other vehicles that hopefully provide our citizens with the mobility they need to move around the state. So that's us in brief.
Great. And what was the motivation for the DART Connect project to transition from a fixed route bus service to an on-demand microtransit in the area?
So going back, I guess, to the beginning, is our former Secretary of Transportation, Jen Cohen, declared that mobility in Delaware shall be a right. So mobility is a right that had us at DART taking a look at all of our impediments to that, to mobility. How were individuals being impeded from being able to access public transportation, whether it was the rails or the buses? And like many other states which have a large rural communities that are also somewhat economically depressed, our big priority was eliminating that first mile, last mile impediment for a lot of folks in those areas. So when this grant became available, it was really a no-brainer for us. My predecessor, Victoria Vanderpool, who is now with the FTA, and our CEO, John Sisson, as well as the secretary, thought this would be a perfect opportunity to test out a microtransit program that would be on demand and that would allow people who want to access that system to be able to use one app to book the ride, have the ride sent to them, and complete the ride. So that was our motivation.
And can you describe the service area a bit and what benefits it provides to the communities where it operates?
Right. So again, what we wanted to do is focus in on our rural area of Delaware, which is Sussex County. And within Sussex County, we had a lot of different opportunities and locations to choose from, but we chose Georgetown and Millsboro, two of the largest cities in Sussex County, because they were opportunity zones that had already been declared. They had a number of employers that were looking for employees to be able to get to work in an economical and dependable fashion. We're running at that time flex route services in those areas. And while we had some decent ridership, it was not at the ridership level that we wanted. Additionally, the quality of the ride, I mean, the operators were fantastic, the cutaway buses were fantastic, but we had people on the buses for too long, and it took too long to pick them up. And additionally, they had some distance to walk to get to pickup points. And we wanted to eliminate all of that through this microtransit program. Around the program, what we set were some quality standards that we wanted to meet. To achieve those goals, number one, we wanted to be able to get somebody picked up when they request, from the time they request the ride to the time they're picked up, into about a 15-minute window. We wanted to keep people on the buses no more than 10 minutes while we transport them. And we wanted to reduce their distance to travel to the pickup points. We're not paratransit services where we go door to door, but what we'd like to do is select a pickup location that's near their home and no more than 100 feet, and then deliver them to where they want to go, again, with a minimal walking distance. And due to the hard work of the DART, Delta, I mean, we had a lot of people involved in this. We've been able to accomplish those goals and maintain them as we have grown out the program.
Great. So you mentioned that in addition to Georgetown and Millsboro, Dart Connect serves some nearby employers and employment centers and businesses. Can you tell us a little bit about your partnerships with some of these and how they came to be?
Sure. So in Sussex County, it's known as, for us affectionately, as the chicken capital of the state. There are a lot of poultry plants in that area, and the poultry plants employ obviously a number of individuals who have limited access to private transportation, had limited access to public transportation, and who are also economically strapped to a certain extent. So we reached out to a couple of the big employers, one of them being Mountain Air Poultry, talked to them and advised them of the program. In the beginning, they were more of a, you got to show us that this will work. But in getting the word out through public hearings, the internet, and other advertisements, getting articles in the newspaper, Mountain Air employees found us. And Mountain Air employees started to rely on our service to get them to work and from work. And now we're at the point where Mountain Air is meeting with us on a regular basis, as well as a couple of our other community entities that we have, to ensure that our program gets built out. For example, we just talked to them before the holidays, and what they want us to do is to extend the service beyond Millsboro and Georgetown to pick up employees that are outside of that scope. And what we're doing is taking a look at that. We're assessing it at this point in time. The grant limits us to Georgetown and Millsboro, but I think that once the grant ends, which will be in April, we're going to continue the program and we're going to expand the program in that area. Another employer is the correctional facility in that area. Not only they had a real need to bring people, those who were in the system, to various locations so they could maybe to have meetings and make sure they're doing the right thing. So they have worked with us right from the beginning to set up a program which verifies who we are picking up and who we're dropping off, and making sure that, again, we provide reliable services. And they're also very happy and looking for us to expand. We're having the other poultry businesses taking a look at us, and it's just been a nice partnership. The same can be said about Millsboro and Georgetown. They're not actively involved in it. They're not really looking over our shoulder. They recognize that we're the experts. And when we came in and talked to them, I think they recognized that, okay, these guys know what they're doing. We like the idea. Let's let them run. And so far, they've been getting good responses and good comments. I think it was probably about 3 months into the program, we got the best advertisement we could ever hope for. And that was a rider who, unsolicited, wrote into a local paper that happened to be a Spanish paper, and just said that, hey, everybody, you got to use this Dart Connect. It's like a private taxi, and they only charge you $2. This is wonderful. And yeah, the word is out there, and hopefully our intent is to have this be a long-term program, definitely in Sussex County.
Great. And so other than your example of the rider going into the newspaper and telling them about how much he liked it, how else do riders learn about and access Dart Connect?
Word of mouth. There also, we do have little signs up about Dart Connect stop here. So they're asking questions, and we have our app. If you go onto our Dart First State site, you can find Dart Connect, and the app will direct you and tell you exactly what we're doing and what it's all about, the hours, the cost. And I think the biggest thing is not only the quality of the ride that we provide, as well as the quality of the overall service, but it's $2. It's $2 to ride. Unless you also have another pass with us or are a senior, your rate can actually drop down to $1 a ride. And we'll take you anywhere you want to go in Georgetown and Millsboro. We'd like to, if people need to travel, say from Georgetown up here to Wilmington, we take them to the bus hubs and make sure that they are there when the Wilmington bus leaves. And it's really a one-stop for them. It's been very easy for them. We talk to them in English, Spanish, and to our surprise, when we got down there, we didn't realize it because the demographics didn't show it. But there was a big Haitian Creole population, so we had to convert a lot of our all of our documents into Haitian Creole to collect that population, let them know what's going on.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about Delaware Transit Corporation's role as a statewide agency implementing this project?
So yeah, this was, we just, last year we won the Governor's Excellence in Team Award because this was a large team effort. Not only was it us at the Office of Performance Management and Innovation that, we kicked it off, but we relied heavily on our control centers, our reservation centers. DelDOT provided a lot of people, a lot of support to the entire program. Additionally, we hired VIA Mobility LLC to institute the app, and working with our DTI departments and DelDOT's DTI departments, we have an app now that's up. That got up very quickly. We continue to refine it, but at this point in time, just like our goal, rider who wants to ride gets on the app, asks for the ride, tells us where they want to go, where they want to be picked up, and at what time. And that ride is booked smoothly and seamlessly all the way through to the operator of the bus. The operator, the way we get the information to them is through a tablet that we've installed on the bus. So they're called and they're told on the tablet where to go and who they're going to pick up and when they need to pick them up and where they're going to drop them off. So all that information happens very quickly, and again, as a result, we can get our rides out within 15 minutes. What we're doing is tracking everything that's going on here. So we have a lot of key performance indicator information, but one of the other ones that is important to us is that we're over 50% of riders who actually use the app. The app just continues to grow and use as people understand it and realize this is a very easy way to go. If they don't want to use the app, they just call into DTC's call center, reservation center, and book the ride that way. And our people at our centers can, again, we'll access the app and get the information out to the operators on their tablets. The other last party that we rely heavily upon is called First Transit. It is a private company that provides transportation services a lot for us. They provide us with the operators. We hire them to provide operators, but we have them use our DART cutaway buses.
And on the topic of the app, so for some agencies, implementing new technology can pose some challenges, even as it does open up new possibilities. What barriers has DTC had to overcome with this project?
Well, we've had, as you can imagine, we've had some hiccups along the way. I don't think a lot of them are major. One of the big things in the beginning was connectivity. We seemed to have connectivity issues and we would lose our operator sometimes. And in talking to our provider as well as others who were using the system or putting the system in use as well, we found out that using tablets was not the way to go. Smartphones were much better. So we kind of had a stumble there. The other thing that we found out is that our provider uses an AWS system. When the AWS system goes down nationally, we go down. And that's happened a couple times. So we're at the mercy of AWS and we're mercy of VIA getting the system back up and running. So we learned after the first outage that we had, we needed a very detailed emergency plan that would kick over to all of us working hands-on, no computers, and getting these rides out. So after that, we do have a nice plan in place. We've had more than a couple outages since then, but we've been able to provide, we've provided almost 100% of all the rides that have been requested during the outage. The last outage, we did not fulfill a ride because the individual was a no-show at the very end. But otherwise, that was one of the things we really needed to, we found out was needed. You have to have a really good outage plan in place before you launch. And then it's just, we'll have some of the, I don't know if it was due to a lack of understanding of the geography down there, but there were little issues that we had to address along the way, such as VIA would say to an operator here, pick somebody up at the Walmart in Georgetown, and they need to go to a bus stop in Millsboro. So no problem, get in, drive. They take them down to Millsboro. It happens to be around 12 o'clock, and VIA would say, okay, it's time for your break, operator. Go back to Georgetown and have your break. And then after the break was over, okay, break's over. Now you got to pick up somebody at this location and take them back to Millsboro. I'm like, what? That's like 45 minutes, an hour, really wasted. So it was tweaking the system to make sure that, okay, you go on a break wherever you're at. And little things like that. It's not really been that terrible. It's better than what I expected, having taken this over after Veronica left. And I think it's because of the entire team, from the consultants to everybody in-house. And again, it was reflected in the governor's award that he issued to us all.
Great. And what outcomes and impacts from the project have you seen so far?
So the big impact is that it's got a lot of traction across the state. A lot of people taking a look at it from their various levels, and people and cities looking for us to expand to their locations. I will tell you, we're taking a look at our what's called Newcastle here up in Newcastle County. It's not a rural area, but it's an area in which we do have some challenges in getting people on buses and into public transportation. And also the city of Newark has requested that we go out to public hearing in their city and talk about microtransit and bringing it up into the city of Newark. Right now, we service the city. There is a Maryland county service that also services Newark. And last, University of Delaware has a bus system that services Newark. And then the city has a bus service. And the city's bus service is very cheap. And however, it is a fixed route service that loops around the city, and stops in various locations, but basically loops the city. And it takes 70 minutes to complete that loop. They're looking for us to replace that with an on-demand service and being able to take residents who ride what's called the Unicity bus, being able to get them to locations which they can't get to now. Dialysis centers, other medical centers, employment zones. We have at the University of Delaware what's called the STAR campus. And that was started developing a few years ago. It's a research center as well as a business center. That is growing by leaps and bounds and continues to expand. One of the employers there, Bloom Energy, just expanded to, I think it was 3,000 employees. And they've reached out to us in the city and want Dart Connect to become one of their main primary ways of getting employees into their plant. So I think it's the big impact is I think people are seeing that this is a greater and better alternative to flex routing, and also it is very popular with the public. We do our job.
Great. And finally, are there any key lessons that you've learned that you'd like to share with other state DOTs or statewide transit agencies looking to implement microtransit service?
Have an emergency protocol in place. You don't want to get that notice that the system's down and not know what to do about it. That first day was not a calm day. Now we have very calm days when that occurs. And also continually look at the parameters that you're having your provider put into the app. Make sure that they understand the geography and where you want to go, put restrictions in there to control where the service is delivered, because one of the first things you're going to find is people want to expand it and they want to grow it. So if you want to maintain a fixed area, make sure that's built in to the app. And the other thing is to clearly identify the services that you're providing, the vehicles and their capacity, whether they can take a wheelchair or not, because the last thing you want to do is send out a vehicle to pick up somebody who is in a wheelchair and they can't do that, and the vehicle can't do it. Yeah, it doesn't make people happy. It delays things. So really look at what you want to do, what you can do, what your capabilities are, and make sure the app is able to capture and filter those when the on-demand request comes in.
All right. And is there anything else you'd like to share about this project?
No, other than it's been great. It's been this has been a very fun project. There's a lot that we work on, but we enjoy this a lot. We're getting a lot of good feedback and a lot of success, and hopefully this will continue for a number of years and also build out across the country, because it worked. It's working here.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
No problem, anytime. And I invite anybody who has any questions or comments, look me up. I'm again at the Delaware Transit Corporation, and it's just Bruce.Demeter at delaware.gov.
Thanks.